the exam. What we're going to talk about now is the day of the MRCP Part 1 exam itself. You'll know in advance which exam centre you've been allocated, so it's critically important to make sure you know exactly where you're going and how to get there. If the exam centre is a long way from where you live, you may need to consider getting accommodation and spending the night before nearby. It's recommended that you arrive at the exam site at least 30 minutes before the exam is due to start, so leave plenty of time for travel and parking. Don't forget to have a checklist of things not to forget on the day of the exam. Perhaps most important on this list is your valid ID. You won't be allowed entry to the exam without it. Generally, this will be a valid passport or photocard driving licence. Other options for people without either of these documents are permitted, and you should check the MRCP website for precise details. Remember also to print a copy of your admission document and check your details match your ID. Remember, you're not allowed to take any stationery or written material with you into the exam hall. The college provides a pencil and eraser at the desks. It goes without saying that you're not allowed to take any electronic devices into the exam. The exam is split into 2 papers, each 3 hours long and each consisting of 100 questions. That means that on average you have less than 2 minutes per question. Despite that sounding like a short period of time, most well-prepared candidates find that they actually finish early. There are some important considerations when it comes to how best to utilise your time in the exam. The importance of carefully reading the question cannot be overemphasised. Many points are lost by candidates misunderstanding the question due to reading it too hastily. This becomes very obvious when one examines the errors made in mock exams, and you may well notice this in yourself when you look at your own mistakes from practice papers. Another common source of error comes from candidates thinking that they recognise a question from previous papers or experience and jumping to conclusions regarding the answer. It is in this situation that it's critically important to take a step back, carefully read the question and ensure that you're not making this mistake based on what might be termed the availability heuristic. This is a common sort of error and occurs because you base your answer on something you remember seeing recently and not on the facts that you've actually been presented with. Yet another exam day error stems from the framing effect. In this situation, a candidate overvalues a piece of information presented early in a question and then ignores later, more important data in favour of the initial opinion that they formed. These error types are actually quite common generally in clinical decision making, but under exam stress probably become even more prevalent. The best possible advice is to read the question carefully, especially if it seems easy and you think you know the answer. You'll be able to see your results online approximately 4 weeks after the exam. Currently, about 60% of UK trainees pass the exam upon first taking it. The pass rate for other candidates is a little below 50% at the first attempt. The pass rates become lower for candidates taking the exam for between a 2nd and 6th time. The latest data on pass rates are published on the MRCP website. That concludes this talk on tips and advice for the MRCP Part 1 examination. Good luck with your revision and good luck in your exam.